Hello YouTube fans, here again. And this one kind of inspired me because I remember doing one weeks ago called Fight Night versus the Lost Boys. So this one sort of inspired me to do this. I know a lot of people probably do like these films. I am a big Arnold Schwarzenegger fan. Got me back into doing my weightlifting, got me into doing other stuff. But a lot of people think of Arnold Schwarzenegger, they think of the Exterminator. A lot of people think of Sylvester Stallone, they think either of Rocky, Rambo, or probably his early action films. So this one inspired me. This being the classic from 1984, The Exterminator, follows the big hit blockbuster from 1991, Exterminator 2, Judgment Day, and what I think of them both versus both. Fuck it, hands down, they're both good films, end of discussion. But I want to do my reasons why I think they're both good films and why they're both unique. I love that word, unique in their own way. Why not? So, the original Exterminator film, what do I think of it? Just move something out of the way because it's getting on my nerves. Moved. Right, what do I think of the original Exterminator film? I think it's a good slasher horror film. For people who want to know what I mean by that, technically you could say it's science fiction in the sense of Dave Tamlin had this weird nightmare of this thing from the future going through fire, but it was also inspired from an episode of The Outer Limits. If you remember that TV program, it came out through the 50s to the 60s and so on. They did a modern one in the 90s. Well, that show was going to sue the Exterminator, believe it or not, for copyright, because there was an episode where out the Outer Limits, they had this guy from the future. You had one what was bad, one what was good, to come down to Earth, so on. Very similar story. And if you ever saw the Outer Limits, that episode, you would definitely see the resemblance, the look of it. Very similar. So I look at the Exterminator, the original, as a slasher film. It's a guy. You think it's a guy. Big muscly man comes down from the future to what would have been 1984 to kill all these women, go Sarah Connor. Brutally shoots them, massacres them, kills them. Then you've got the John Connor character, Reese, I should say, who come down to Earth to save, I should say, a woman called Sarah Connor, who's going to have a baby called John Connor, which is those foils on in that one. And as you know, everyone knows the Exterminator, it's a classic. You find out he's not just some psychopath being played by the legendary Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know why I'm saying legendary, he's still alive, he's got muscles. But paid by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Which is funny. The history of it will make you laugh. Originally, the role was going to be given to O.J. Simpson. They said he looked too nice for the role, which is laughable when you look at the history now. And as we know, the role got given to Arnold Schwarzenegger. There's a lot of history. Like, it was inspired by my favourite sci-fi film, Westworld. It was inspired by that film. Loads of history there. But you find out, as we all know, that the Arnie's character is not just a psychopath. He's not brutally shooting women for the fun of it. He's a cyborg, doesn't show any remorse. You can't bargain him, you can't reason him. I love them lines like recess. And then we go all the way years later to Exterminator 2, Judgment Day. Because of the success of the first one, the first one, you could have had it as a standalone film. You could have had it as a standalone film, but a lot of people loved it that much. People always wondered what would happen if they make a sequel. So in 1991, even though Dave Tamlin was making it big at that time, you know, double this, before he did this, he did The Abyss. He did a lot of other date films, whether it be Aliens, and so on. So he decided, why not? So he did what they call Exterminator 2, Judgment Day. And then a couple of years later, they had a few deleted scenes. He re-added them back on and did Exterminator 2 Judgment Day, the director's cut. A lot of these cuts, I really love them. So, to cut the story short, the Exterminator versus that, I love it because I like the way it changes. When I first saw this, I thought Arnie was going to be a badder, just like in the original. But the way they altered him into a duddy, I thought that was interesting. I felt they had too much humour in it. It wasn't really needed, but I do actually like Arnie, the way they changed Arnie. I like the 2000. That actor was an unknown actor. Unknown. He had to improvise how he moved, or he moved like that robotically. And he actually improvised all that, improvised his emotions and everything. And I thought he did just as good as what Arnie did as the bad exterminator. I think he did a really good job. Now, CGI, you know what I think of CGI. You know what I think of it. But for this film, it wasn't like the third one where it was like every 2 minutes in your fucking face. It was done when it needed to be done, but it was done perfective there. I love that word. It's a big word. But it was. I love the bit where he goes to that door. It's like a jelly finger. I love the bit where he's going through the phone. His head comes through. He seems to form into a human. And there's a good bit of history. There's a bit where Arnie does. He wasn't fully naked. Yeah, he had his t-shirt off, but if you see behind the scenes, he was wearing shorts. Like I always say when I'm doing these videos and people see my legs, I'm wearing shorts. Like I am now. So there was a bar. It's made to look like a biker's bar. Some woman accidentally walked in thinking it was a real bar. It's a funny story, this. And Arnie was laughing because he knew this poor woman thought it was a real bar, wanting a beer and everything. And he said, "Oh yeah, yeah. Tonight we're doing Stipping Tail night." You know, I can't do his accent, but it was so laughable. The laughable story there. So I kind of like the way the role gets done first, and this time he's helping Sarah Connor. He's not trying to kill Sarah Connor. And then we get back to the first one. Again, I love the horror aspects. Some people have a go at the effects in the original, The Exterminator, but I've got to fucking be argumentative. I've got to be a dick. I thought the effects were pretty good. Yeah, the bit where Arnie's eye, he pulls his eye out and all that, and you see the face and it thickens a bit like that. But in all fairness, Arnie did that. Don't mean he pulled his own fucking eye out. He had an electronic robotic thing made to look like his face, did all that. And he was holding it up, trying to put the sunglasses on. You try to do that, you're holding this big fucking robot of your face thickening about. It's bound to thicker, it's bound to bounce, it's bound to move about. But I dilute it. I think the old studio effects I've been out of the CGI any day of the week. Now we get to Exterminator 2. Even though I'm not loving the CGI, remind back what I just said. That my dog barking, remind back what I just said. The CGI was done when it needed to be done, but you're talking about what? The film is what? 1991. That them effects look damn low better than what I saw in any other film since. They really do. Like the bits I've just said, I love the bits where he goes to the bar, I love the bits where he's getting shot, you got silver splats here, there, everywhere. I love those little touches, I love the bit where he gets sliced and his head gets cut in half and then his face just goes and it turns back and he does that with a finger. I just love every bit of that. And I just love the way that the character gets it. He gets shot, he falls in that cyanide, he melts, and so on. I love the bits in Exterminator and all where Arnie's trying to get Sarah Connor. He self-sacrificed himself but dies, which was sad. And I love the way she outsmarts him and she says that line, "You're exterminated, fucker." Love it. But in the second one, I've got to admit, I cried. The bit when Arnie had to self-sacrifice himself. That's one of the reasons why I'm not that mad on Exterminator 3, Rise of the Machine. Because it makes everything what that character Arnie went through pointless. Fucking pointless. Self-sacrificed himself probably for a fucking hobby when you think about it, when they did that. But I like them both. I like them both. I like the original one for the horror aspects. To me, I look at the original as more of an horror film, more of a slasher film. It doesn't get science fiction into the little bit of the beginning, into the end. Then it's an action film. But the first bits and half of that film, I look at it as a slasher and an horror film. You can't reason with him. You can't bargain with him. He does not feel any remorse, and he will not stop until you are dead. I love them lines like Recess because it's spot on. I like the Exterminator 2. I feel that's more science fiction. It's more action-packed. Lots of action. There are bits where I feel it sort of drags. Like the bits where they're in the desert. But I'm not keen on the actor that played John Connor, the little kid. I know he's moved on and he's no longer a kid. But everything else, I love. So Exterminator, the original, the classic. Fuck it. a 20-star rating. And the second one, which is also a good one, oh fuck it, another 20-star rating. So if you had 20, had 20, that makes 40. I think they're both good films, both unique in their own right. So there's no competition. Exterminator versus Exterminator 2. They're both good films. Both good in their own right. So until then, I'll be back and I'll see you later.